Welcome back, everyone, to Echoes of Ihsan. We love to just take these deep dives into the gems of Islamic teachings, and today we're going to be diving deep into the concept of itikaf, and we're going to be using Sahih Bukhari,
Oh, nice.
Book 33, Retiring to a Mosque for Remembrance of Allah.
I love that. Yeah.
So, what is itikaf?
Well, I think a lot of people have different understandings, but the most basic is that it's a spiritual retreat. A period of really dedicated worship and reflection, and it's usually spent within a mosque.
Okay.
And, especially during the last 10 days of Ramadan,
Yeah.
and it's all about seeking that closeness to Allah. It's like pressing pause on everything else that's happening in the world and just immersing yourself
White?
in that divine presence.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's like hitting the reset button.
It is. Yeah, it's a beautiful way to kind of reconnect and rejuvenate spiritually.
And we're going to be looking at this concept through the lens of various hadiths from Sahih Bukhari to really understand the practices and the teachings of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, regarding itikaf.
Yeah, and what I think is so fascinating about this book's title is how it emphasizes the essence of itikaf. It says, retiring to a mosque for remembrance of Allah.
Right.
So it's not just about being in a mosque physically, but it's about that conscious effort to connect with the divine through sincere devotion and mindful reflection, and doing all of that within that sacred space.
That's beautifully put. It's like creating a sanctuary of the heart, a
Yeah.
space dedicated solely to nurturing our connection with Allah.
Exactly.
Now let's take a journey back in time to the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, and understand how he approached itikaf.
Yeah. The Hadiths give us these glimpses into the Prophet's life, and they reveal just how deeply committed he was to this practice. We learn that he consistently observed itikaf during the last 10 days of Ramadan, which really shows the emphasis and the importance he placed on this act of devotion. And it's important to note that it wasn't just a one-time thing for him. This was a recurring practice throughout his life.
Right.
And, in doing so, he set a powerful example for us to follow.
Yeah, actions speak louder than words, and his dedication really shows that itikaf wasn't just a ritual for him, but it was something that was deeply meaningful, a practice that he really valued and upheld. And this practice wasn't just limited to men, was it?
No, absolutely not. We also learned that his wife continued to practice itikaf even after his death.
Right.
And this really signifies its importance for both men and women as a path to spiritual growth and renewal.
This consistency and inclusivity really highlights just how universal this practice is within Islam.
Yeah.
Now let's shift our focus to the connection between itikaf and the night of Qadr. There's a captivating story about this, isn't there?
There is, and it actually reveals the Prophet's own journey in seeking Laylatul Qadr,
Okay.
the night of power, that night that's considered more blessed than 1,000 months.
Right.
That night where destinies are shaped, supplications are answered, and it's incredible. The Hadith narrates that initially the Prophet intended to perform itikaf during the middle 10 days of Ramadan.
Okay.
But then he received divine revelation about the significance of the last 10 nights, specifically in relation to Laylatul Qadr.
And this revelation came to him through a dream, right? A dream filled with symbolism.
Yes, exactly. The Prophet had this vivid dream, and he saw himself prostrating in mud and water on the morning of Laylatul Qadr.
Wow.
And this dream was a sign for him. It prompted him to shift his itikaf to the last 10 days, and he encouraged his companions to do the same.
It's amazing how dreams can hold such weight and meaning, sometimes guiding us towards a deeper understanding. And this dream manifested in reality, right?
It did. On a rainy night, the Prophet was seen with mud and water on his forehead, fulfilling the vision he had in his dream.
SubhanAllah. So it really solidified the understanding that the night of Qadr was meant to be sought during the last 10 nights of Ramadan.
Exactly. It's such a beautiful portrayal of the Prophet's earnest seeking of Laylatul Qadr through itikaf.
Yeah.
It's a testament to his humility and devotion.
It's truly inspiring. It's not just about marking a date on a calendar, but it's about embodying that yearning, that spiritual connection, and that dedication to really just worshiping and supplicating and hoping to attain Allah's blessings. Now, I know a lot of people wonder about what's permissible during itikaf. It is a time of intense spiritual focus, but the Prophet's example really offers some valuable guidance here, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The Hadiths offer us these really insightful glimpses into the Prophet's life during itikaf, especially his interactions with his wife Aisha, may Allah be pleased with her, while he was in seclusion.
Okay.
We see Aisha combing and oiling the Prophet's hair, and we learn that he embraced her even during her menses.
These examples paint a beautiful picture of balance.
Yes.
It shows that even in this state of deep spiritual retreat, there's room for personal interactions and care for our loved ones.
Right. Absolutely. The hadiths highlight that while itikaf is a time of intense devotion, it doesn't necessitate complete isolation from loved ones or fulfilling those basic needs.
Right.
It's not about neglecting our humanity, but about elevating it through devotion.
Right.
However, it is crucial to clarify that intimate relations are not permitted during itikaf,
Right.
as it maintains the sanctity of that spiritual focus.
And that's such an important nuance.
Yes.
Because it really provides a realistic and compassionate understanding of how to approach itikaf, balancing our spiritual aspirations with our human needs and limitations.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And, it echoes the Prophet's teachings, which are always infused with mercy and understanding, showing us how to seek Allah's pleasure through sincere devotion while acknowledging our human nature.
Now, speaking of seeking Allah's pleasure, there's a really compelling story about Umar ibn al-Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, and his vow related to itikaf.
Oh, yes.
And this story seems to hold valuable lessons about fulfilling vows that are made to Allah, even those that were made before embracing Islam. So what was Umar's vow, and how did the Prophet advise him?
So before becoming Muslim, Umar had taken a vow to perform itikaf in Masjid al-Haram, the holiest mosque in Islam, located in Mecca. Imagine the weight of such a promise made in a time of ignorance, right?
Yeah.
And after embracing Islam, he sought guidance from the Prophet, peace be upon him, about fulfilling this vow. And the Prophet instructed him to honor his vow, emphasizing the significance of upholding promises made to Allah, regardless of when they were made.
This really demonstrates the unwavering importance of fulfilling vows in Islam, doesn't it? Especially those related to acts of worship, even if they were made before one's heart found the light of Islam.
It does. It emphasizes the importance of integrity and commitment to Allah in our lives. It's a reminder that even vows made in ignorance before finding the true path should be honored once we understand their significance.
It really teaches us about accountability and sincerity in our relationship with Allah, building it on a foundation of trust and faithfulness. Now let's explore another aspect of itikaf, which is the importance of humility and sincere intentions throughout the practice.
This is crucial. The hadiths actually offer us an incident where the Prophet, peace be upon him, chose to postpone his itikaf.
Oh, really?
Due to an unintentional show of rivalry that arose among his wives.
This is interesting. What happened?
So the Prophet's wives, Aisha, Hafsa, and Zainab, may Allah be pleased with them all, each set up separate tents for him during itikaf.
Okay.
And while this may have seemed like a gesture of love and respect, it inadvertently created this atmosphere of competition.
It's interesting how even well-intentioned actions can sometimes lead to unintended consequences.
Yes.
Now, the Prophet, peace be upon him, was known for his sensitivity and wisdom.
Yeah.
How did he respond to this?
Upon seeing the tents, he questioned their intentions. He asked, do you consider that they intended to do righteousness by doing this? So he recognized that their actions, though well-intentioned, had introduced this element of ostentation and rivalry, which contradicted the spirit of sincere devotion that itikaf embodies.
So essentially, he decided to postpone his itikaf to avoid any perception of seeking praise or attention.
Exactly. He chose to step back from the situation, and he later performed itikaf in the month of Shawwal instead.
Wow.
And this highlights the critical importance of performing acts of worship, including itikaf, with pure intentions, free from any desire for recognition or worldly gain.
Such a profound lesson for us all.
It is.
It reminds us that our focus during itikaf and in all of our acts of worship should be solely on seeking Allah's pleasure, purifying our hearts from any desire for worldly recognition.
Exactly. It underscores the essence of humility and sincerity in our spiritual endeavors. The Prophet's decision demonstrates that even the appearance of impropriety can detract from the spiritual essence of our actions, reminding us to constantly check our intentions and ensure alignment with our desire to draw closer to Allah.
These teachings are so relevant even today.
They are.
It's so easy to get caught up in the outward aspects of religious practices. But the Prophet's example really emphasizes the importance of prioritizing our inner state and intentions.
Absolutely. True spirituality lies in the purity of our hearts and the sincerity of our actions.
Now let's move on to a set of hadiths that offer valuable lessons about addressing misconceptions and promoting understanding during itikaf. The stories about the Prophet's interactions with his wife, Safiya, may Allah be pleased with her, come to mind.
Yes. These stories provide valuable insights into the Prophet's wisdom and sensitivity in dealing with potentially sensitive situations, especially within the context of itikaf. a time when perceptions and judgments could easily arise.
What happened with Safiya, may Allah be pleased with her, during itikaf?
So the Hadiths describe instances where the Prophet was seen walking with Safiya at night during itikaf.
Okay.
In one instance, he was accompanying her home after she visited him in the mosque, while in another, they were simply walking together.
And you can imagine that in that time and place, such encounters might have sparked questions or assumptions.
Yeah.
People might have wondered about the nature of their interactions, especially within the sacred space of a mosque and during itikaf.
Right.
So how did the Prophet address these potential misunderstandings?
He did what many might shy away from. He addressed the situation directly. When two Ansari men saw him with Safiya, he approached them and said, "Do not run away. She is my wife, Safiya bint Huyay." And then he explained that he was concerned that Satan might have planted evil thoughts in their minds.
Wow. So he didn't just dismiss their concerns or ignore the situation,
Yeah.
but he chose to engage with them openly and honestly, demonstrating his commitment to truth and understanding.
Exactly. And, he understood the importance of clear communication, particularly within the sacred space of a mosque and during itikaf.
Right.
And by openly addressing the situation, he prevented any rumors or suspicions from spreading, safeguarding the reputation of Safiya and protecting the sanctity of that spiritual atmosphere.
This is such a powerful lesson in communication and social responsibility. His actions teach us to be mindful of appearances and to prevent suspicion by clarifying situations that might be misconstrued, especially in sensitive environments like a mosque. And what's interesting is that the Prophet, peace be upon him, didn't just offer a simple explanation. He went a step further and invoked the concept of Satan.
Yes. And, his explanation reminds us of the constant presence of temptation represented by Satan, who's always seeking to mislead us and sow discord.
Right.
And he uses this powerful analogy comparing evil thoughts to blood circulating in the body.
Right.
To illustrate how easily negativity can penetrate our minds. And this highlights the importance of vigilance, guarding our hearts against suspicion and ill thoughts.
It's a reminder to question our assumptions, seek clarification, and prioritize open communication over harboring doubts and suspicions. It's incredibly relevant in today's world where misinformation and judgment can spread so rapidly.
Absolutely. It encourages us to approach potentially sensitive situations with wisdom, compassion, and a commitment to understanding, recognizing the potential ripple effects of our words and actions.
These teachings offer a framework for navigating social interactions with integrity and mindfulness, promoting clarity and preventing harm. They embody the prophetic qualities of wisdom, compassion, and proactive communication, offering valuable guidance for us all.
Indeed, they call us to a higher standard of conduct, reminding us that our interaction should reflect the beauty of our faith.
These stories about itikaf are truly eye-opening. They provide a glimpse into the Prophet's personal practice, his interactions with those around him, and they reveal profound lessons about spirituality, human connection, and the importance of sincere intentions.
Yeah.
They invite us to reflect on our approach to itikaf and strive to embody the spirit of this practice in all our endeavors, understanding its nuances and depths.
Welcome back to our deep dive into itikaf.
It's been fascinating to explore the historical context and the Prophet's practices. But now I'm really curious to bridge that gap to today. How do these centuries-old teachings about itikaf translate into our modern, often hectic lives?
That's a question a lot of us grapple with, isn't it? The world today is vastly different from the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. We're bombarded with constant distractions, and the pace of life can feel relentless. It's like we're constantly plugged in and tuned into the world, leaving little space for quiet reflection.
Exactly. So how can we even begin to create that space for itikaf, that sense of spiritual retreat, when our lives are so full? Between work, family, and social obligations, it feels like there's barely a moment to breathe, let alone dedicate to deep spiritual practice.
Well, what's beautiful about itikaf is that it's not just about physical seclusion. It's about cultivating a state of inner retreat, a sanctuary of the heart, even amidst the busyness of our lives. Imagine it as building a quiet room within yourself where you can connect with Allah, regardless of the external chaos.
So it's not about trying to replicate the exact conditions of the Prophet's time, but about capturing the essence of itikaf. It's about finding ways to access that inner sanctuary, that stillness within, even when surrounded by the demands of modern life.
Precisely. It's about adapting the principles to our modern context. For example, while traditionally itikaf involves staying within the mosque, we can create mini itikafs in our own homes. Think of it as carving out pockets of sacred time and space within your daily routine.
I love that idea. Mini itikafs. How would that work? What would that look like in a practical sense?
It could involve setting aside a dedicated space in your home, free from distractions, where you can engage in prayer, reflection, and reading the Quran.
Okay.
It could be a quiet corner of your bedroom, a comfortable chair in your living room, or even a peaceful spot in your garden. It's about creating a physical space that invites you to turn inwards and connect with the divine. It might also mean limiting your use of technology, turning off the TV, and silencing your phone. These devices often serve as portals to the outside world, constantly pulling our attention away from the present moment. By consciously disconnecting, we create space for deeper connection with Allah.
Essentially creating a temporary sanctuary within our own living spaces. It's like building a mini mosque within our hearts and homes.
Exactly. It's about carving out those pockets of time, even if it's just for an hour or two each day, to disconnect from the external world and reconnect with our inner selves and with Allah. It's not about the quantity of time, but the quality of our presence during those moments.
That feels much more attainable, even in our busy lives. And it resonates with the idea that itikaf is about that internal shift, that focus on spiritual connection. It's not about escaping the world, but about transforming our relationship with it.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the quantity of time, but the quality of our presence. Even a few minutes spent in sincere prayer and reflection can be deeply nourishing. It's like taking a deep breath of fresh air after being in a stuffy room. It revitalizes our souls and reminds us of what truly matters.
This reminds me of something we discussed earlier, the importance of intention. Even if we can't physically be in a mosque for extended periods, we can still cultivate the intention of itikaf in our daily lives. It's about bringing that mindfulness and focus on our connection with Allah into all that we do.
Precisely. We can approach our daily prayers, our acts of charity, and even our interactions with others with the same spirit of mindfulness and seeking closeness to Allah that characterizes itikaf. Imagine infusing every aspect of your life with that same intentionality, that same yearning for connection.
So it's about bringing that itikaf mindset, that intentionality, into all aspects of our lives. It's not just a practice confined to a specific time and place, but a way of being in the world.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that itikaf is not just a ritual, but a state of being, a way of life that we can cultivate both within and beyond the walls of a mosque. It's like carrying the spirit of itikaf with you wherever you go.
This concept of itikaf as a way of life is so powerful. It suggests that the benefits of this practice can extend far beyond the designated period of retreat, influencing how we approach every aspect of our lives.
Absolutely. When we approach our lives with the same intentionality and mindfulness that we bring to itikaf, we can experience a profound sense of peace, purpose, and connection with Allah in every moment. Imagine living each day with that sense of groundedness and awareness, knowing that you're moving through life with Allah as your constant companion.
This is such an inspiring and empowering perspective. It reminds us that we have the agency to cultivate a state of spiritual retreat, even amidst the challenges and distractions of modern life. It's not about waiting for the perfect circumstances, but about actively creating those spaces within ourselves.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that itikaf is not an escape from the world, but a transformative practice that can equip us to engage with the world in a more meaningful and fulfilling way. It's about returning to the world with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity, ready to contribute our unique gifts and talents.
This brings us to a really important question. How can we, in this modern age, uphold the spirit of itikaf while also navigating the demands and expectations of our daily lives? It's a delicate balance, isn't it? Trying to find that sweet spot between retreating inwards and fulfilling our responsibilities in the world.
It is, and it requires us to be both intentional and adaptable. We can draw inspiration from the Prophet's example, but we also need to find ways to integrate the principles of itikaf into our unique circumstances. It's about honoring the spirit of the practice while also recognizing that our lives today look vastly different from the lives of those in the Prophet's time.
So it's about finding that sweet spot between adhering to the essence of the practice and adapting it to fit our modern lives. It's about striking a balance between tradition and innovation, respecting the roots of the practice while finding ways to make it relevant to our current realities.
Exactly. It's about seeking creative solutions and personalized approaches that allow us to reap the spiritual benefits of itikaf without neglecting our responsibilities. It's about recognizing that there's no one-size-fits-all approach and that each individual's journey with itikaf will be unique.
This reminds me of the discussions we often hear about the use of technology during Ramadan. Some people advocate for complete digital detox, while others believe that technology can be a tool for spiritual growth. It's like there's this tension between the desire to disconnect and the reality that technology is so deeply integrated into our lives.
This is a prime example of how we need to approach contemporary challenges with wisdom and discernment. There's no single right answer. It's about understanding the principles at play and making choices that align with our individual needs and spiritual goals. For some, disconnecting from technology might be crucial for creating that sense of retreat, while for others, technology might offer opportunities to connect with others, deepen their understanding of Islam, or even engage in virtual itikaf communities.
So for some people, limiting technology might be essential for creating that sense of retreat, while for others, technology might offer opportunities to connect with others, deepen their understanding of Islam, or even engage in virtual itikaf communities. It's fascinating how something that can be a source of distraction for some can also be a bridge to deeper connection for others.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that technology itself is not inherently good or bad. It's a tool that can be used in ways that either support or hinder our spiritual growth. The key is to be mindful and intentional in our choices, asking ourselves how our use of technology is impacting our connection with Allah and our ability to cultivate a state of inner peace.
This principle of intentionality seems to be a recurring theme in our discussion about itikaf, doesn't it? It's like a thread that runs through every aspect of the practice, from the physical space we create to our relationship with technology.
It's at the very heart of the practice. Whether we're considering the physical space we occupy, the amount of time we dedicate, or the way we engage with technology, our intention shapes the impact of our actions. If we're constantly distracted, checking our phones and scrolling through social media, even if we're physically present in a mosque or a designated space, our hearts won't be fully present in the act of itikaf.
So if we approach itikaf, and indeed all aspects of our lives, with sincerity, seeking to draw closer to Allah and to cultivate a state of inner peace and connection, then even seemingly small actions can become acts of worship. It's about transforming the mundane into the sacred through the power of intention.
Beautifully put. It's about infusing our lives with intentionality, seeking Allah's pleasure in every moment, and allowing the spirit of itikaf to guide us on our journey of spiritual growth. It's about recognizing that every breath we take, every step we take, can be an act of devotion if we choose to make it so.
This is such a powerful reminder. It suggests that itikaf is not just a once-a-year practice, but a way of life that can transform our relationship with Allah and with ourselves. It's about carrying that sense of presence and awareness into every aspect of our lives.
Absolutely. It's about cultivating a state of presence, gratitude, and surrender, allowing the wisdom of Islamic teachings to illuminate our path and guide us towards a life of meaning and purpose. It's about recognizing that we're not just here to survive, but to thrive, to connect deeply with our Creator, and to contribute our unique gifts to the world.
This has been such an insightful exploration of the contemporary applications of itikaf. It's clear that the principles of this practice remain deeply relevant in our modern world, offering a pathway to spiritual renewal and connection with Allah amidst the complexities of 21st century life.
It's a testament to the timeless wisdom of Islam and the Prophet's teachings, offering guidance and solace for every generation. No matter how much the world changes, the human heart's longing for connection and meaning remains constant, and itikaf offers a path to fulfill that longing.
We've talked a lot about the personal benefits of itikaf, but I'm curious to explore its potential impact on a broader scale. How can this practice contribute to a more compassionate and just society? It seems like a practice that's so focused on individual spiritual growth could also have ripple effects on the world around us.
That's a wonderful question. Itikaf at its core is about cultivating empathy and connection. It's about stepping back from the distractions and demands of daily life to reflect on our relationship with Allah and with our fellow human beings. When we spend time in deep reflection and contemplation, it naturally expands our hearts and deepens our understanding of our interconnectedness.
So it's not just about individual spiritual growth, but also about fostering a sense of social responsibility. It's about recognizing that our personal well-being is intertwined with the well-being of others, and that our actions have ripple effects that extend beyond ourselves.
Absolutely. The time spent in reflection and prayer during itikaf can deepen our understanding of social justice issues, strengthen our commitment to serving others, and inspire us to take action. Imagine emerging from a period of itikaf with a renewed sense of clarity about your purpose in the world and a deeper understanding of the suffering of others.
This reminds me of the Prophet's example. He wasn't just a man of deep spirituality, he was also a leader who championed the rights of the oppressed and worked tirelessly to build a just and equitable society. He embodied the principle that faith without action is incomplete.
Exactly. His life is a testament to the interconnectedness of spiritual growth and social action. Itikaf can provide us with the space and clarity to recognize our interconnectedness, to develop empathy for those who are suffering, and to discern how we can contribute to positive change. It's like a training ground for our hearts, allowing us to cultivate the qualities of compassion, generosity, and justice that are so needed in the world.
So it's about recognizing that our personal spiritual journeys are intertwined with the well-being of our communities and the world around us. It's about understanding that our inner transformation can and should lead to outward action.
Precisely. Itikaf can be a powerful catalyst for social transformation. It can inspire us to speak out against injustice, to work towards alleviating suffering, and to build bridges of understanding and compassion across divides. Imagine a world where everyone emerged from Itikaf with a renewed commitment to making the world a more just and compassionate place.
This is such a hopeful and inspiring perspective. It suggests that itikaf can be a source of not just individual, but collective transformation. It's like planting a seed of compassion that can grow into a forest of positive change.
Yes, when we embrace the spirit of Itikaf, we tap into a wellspring of empathy and compassion that can ripple outward, inspiring positive change in our families, communities, and the world at large. It's a reminder that our actions, no matter how small they may seem, can have a profound impact on the world around us.
This idea of itikaf as a catalyst for social change is incredibly powerful. It elevates this practice beyond a personal act of devotion to a force for collective good. It's about recognizing that our spiritual growth is not just for our own benefit, but for the benefit of all humanity.
It's a reminder that our spiritual journeys are not meant to be solitary endeavors. They are interconnected with the well-being of all creation. And when we nourish our own spirits through practices like itikaf, we naturally contribute to the well-being of the world around us.
This has been such an enriching discussion about the broader societal implications of itikaf. It's clear that this practice can be a powerful force for fostering compassion, understanding, and justice in the world.
It's a reminder that our spiritual practices can have a profound impact beyond our individual lives, contributing to a more just and equitable society for all. It's a call to action to integrate the lessons of itikaf into our daily lives and to strive to embody its principles in our interactions with the world.
This brings us to the end of part 2 of our deep dive into itikaf. Welcome back to the Echoes of Ihsan podcast.
It's been quite a journey through the heart of itikaf, wouldn't you say? From its historical roots to its modern-day applications, we've traversed a rich landscape of knowledge and insights.
Absolutely. We've covered so much ground, from the historical roots to the modern-day applications, and even the potential of this practice to spark positive social change. It's like we've peeled back the layers of this practice, revealing its depth and multifaceted nature.
What's striking to me is how these hadiths, though revealed centuries ago, still hold such profound relevance for us today. It's a testament to the timelessness of Islamic teachings and their ability to guide us through the ever-changing landscape of human experience.
That's the beauty of the Quran and the Sunnah, isn't it? These timeless teachings offer guidance and wisdom that transcend time and place, offering solace and direction no matter where we are on our journey.
Precisely. And in the case of itikaf, we see how a practice rooted in deep devotion can ripple outwards, influencing not just our individual lives, but also the fabric of our communities and society as a whole. It's like a seed that's planted in the heart and grows to encompass the world around us.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, what are some of the key takeaways that you hope our listeners will carry with them? What are the gems of wisdom that we can glean from this exploration and apply to our lives?
For me, it's the emphasis on intentionality. You know, itikaf is not just about physically being in a mosque. It's about cultivating that state of inner retreat, a conscious turning towards Allah, regardless of where we are. It's about recognizing that our connection with the divine isn't confined to a specific time or place, but can be nurtured in every moment of our lives.
That's such a powerful reminder.
It is.
It means that we can access the spirit of itikaf even in the midst of our busy lives, finding those moments of stillness and connection, even amidst the hustle and bustle.
Exactly. And it underscores the importance of approaching all our actions, big or small, with sincerity and mindfulness. It's about bringing that same level of intentionality that we bring to itikaf to everything we do, from our daily prayers to our interactions with others.
Another key takeaway for me is the reminder that itikaf is not about isolation, but about connection. It's about deepening our relationship with Allah and recognizing our interconnectedness with all of creation. It's like we're stepping back from the world to gain a clearer perspective on our place within it, recognizing the intricate web of relationships that bind us together.
Yes, that's beautifully put. It's about recognizing that our spiritual journeys are not meant to be solitary endeavors. They are intertwined with the well-being of our families, communities, and the world around us. When we nourish our own souls, we naturally contribute to the well-being of the whole.
And this brings us to the profound potential of itikaf to contribute to a more just and compassionate society. It's about taking that inner transformation that we cultivate during itikaf and allowing it to radiate outwards, influencing how we interact with the world and contribute to positive change.
Indeed. By cultivating empathy, seeking understanding, and strengthening our commitment to serving others, itikaf can be a powerful catalyst for positive social change.
Right.
It's about recognizing that our personal growth is not an end in itself, but a means to a greater end, the betterment of humanity and the creation of a more just and compassionate world.
So as we conclude this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question. How can we take the lessons we've learned about itikaf and weave them into the tapestry of our daily lives? It's about taking these insights beyond the realm of theory and integrating them into the fabric of our being.
That's a wonderful question to ponder. How can we embody the spirit of itikaf, not just during designated periods of retreat, but in every breath we take, in every interaction we have, in every step we take on this journey of life? It's an ongoing process of integrating these principles into our thoughts, words, and actions.
I think that's a beautiful note to end on. It's a call to action, an invitation to embrace the transformative power of itikaf and to allow its wisdom to guide us towards a more meaningful and fulfilling life, both individually and collectively.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the heart of itikaf. May this exploration inspire us all to seek a deeper connection with Allah and to embody the spirit of this beautiful practice in our lives.
And until next time, may peace, mercy, and blessings be upon you.